Although there are many different kinds of individuals in the world, some stand out more than others. The Sigma man is an especially fascinating species that doesn't appear to fit into any certain category. They're the outliers, the lone wolf, and the ones that follow their own path. Although it might be difficult to identify the precise characteristics of a Sigma man, there are a few things that they most certainly don't do. Here are 11 things that Sigma men never do. 1. The Sigma male never says anything that could injure someone's feelings or cause issues because he understands that sometimes it's better to keep quiet and let others speak. Silence can speak volumes without ever saying a word. He never assumes that loud is strong and quiet is weak. No response is a response, and it's a powerful one. The Sigma male is a strong, quiet person who doesn't feel the need to fill every quiet moment with pointless chatter. They frequently use silence as a test to see how others react, which is a great way to get to know someone because they are more likely to share their true thoughts and feelings when there is no pressure to speak. Sometimes it can be very difficult to keep our mouths shut. We want to speak our minds and be honest with our thoughts and feelings, especially when we're upset. By staying calm and collected, he diffuses any potential conflict before it has a chance to begin. Alpha males frequently need to be the center of attention, but the Sigma male is content to be in the background and enjoys observing others and the world around him. 2. They don't live for the weekend because life is too short to wait for the weekend. While most people use the weekend to party and unwind after a demanding workweek, the Sigma male leaves for today. The Sigma views this as an opportunity to advance, so while others are sleeping, he gets up early and makes the most of the day because he knows that the early bird gets the worm and isn't scared to work for it. Although you might assume that the Sigma male is all work and no play, he knows how to strike a balance between the two. He doesn't let work consume him, but he also doesn't waste time on pointless activities. Of course, he enjoys the occasional day off, but he doesn't allow it to control his life. 3. They don't try to be a note at all. You don't have to know everything. Sometimes, Sigma males aren't afraid to admit when they don't know something because they know it's impossible to know everything and they're not afraid to ask for help when they need it. They're humble, teachable, and understand that we can all learn from one another. We frequently see people trying to act like they know more than they actually do. They make grandiose statements and try to sound smart, but in reality, they don't know what they're talking about. This behavior is more common than you might think. People are afraid to admit when they don't know something, so they pretend they do, but this only causes embarrassment and frustration. When a Sigma meets someone new, he doesn't try to impress them with his knowledge. Instead, he is humble, curious, and more interested in getting to know them than in impressing them. This makes him more likable and approachable, and people are drawn to his sincerity and openness, increasing the likelihood that they want to be around him. 4. They never try to please everyone because you can't please everyone and you'll only end up disappointing yourself in the process. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Cinco males aren't people pleasers because they understand that it's impossible to please everyone all the time. This doesn't imply that Sigmas are impolite or careless. Rather, it means that they don't waste their time trying to make everyone happy or sugarcoat things because they don't care what other people think of them and they don't hesitate to express their opinions, which enables them to be genuine and honest with those around them. It's simple to be sucked into other people's viewpoints, compare ourselves to others, and attempt to emulate their achievements, yet doing so not only saps our own special gifts and skills but also breeds jealousy and animosity. Sigma men are aware that they don't have to win over everyone in order to succeed. Instead, they concentrate on their own objectives and ambitions and let the haters to detest them. Your chosen route is yours alone, and no one else can travel it or comprehend it. 5. While unmarried men are kind and giving, they never let themselves be taken advantage of. There are many people in this world who are skilled at taking advantage of others. They can spot a manipulator a mile away and will not tolerate being treated like pawns in someone else's game. Unfortunately, many people do allow themselves to be taken advantage of because they are afraid to speak up for themselves because they don't want to upset the person who is taking advantage of them. This is especially true at work, where people are frequently afraid to speak up for fear of losing their job. Sigmas, on the other hand, never allow themselves to be taken advantage of because they know their value and will not tolerate being treated like doormats. Many alpha males also allow themselves to be exploited in order to advance in their careers. They are willing to submit to the hierarchy of dominance merely for the sake of power and prestige. The Sigma man prefers to live outside of the hierarchy. They don't care what other people think of them. What other people think of you is none of your business. You are not responsible for other people's opinions of you. People-pleasing is a form of codependency. We try to control how others see us and we base our self-worth on their approval. This causes a great deal of stress and anxiety. We become afraid to make mistakes or take chances lest we ruin our reputation. Many people constantly worry about pleasing other people and living up to their expectations, but this is not the Sigma way. Sigmas embrace their individuality and are content with who they are. They live their lives in accordance with their own standards and values, and while respecting other people's opinions is important, you should never allow them to control your life because you are the only one who knows what's best for you. People will always throw stones in your path. What happens depends on how you interpret them. So, even though they don't compare themselves to others, keep moving forward. Comparing yourself to other people all the time is a certain way to end your life because it breeds jealousy, bitterness, and inferiority complexes. When it comes to success, this type of thinking is particularly detrimental since we regard other people's success as a danger rather than something to strive for, and we often question why they are successful rather than appreciating what we already have. I'm just as excellent as they are. Comparing ourselves to others is a never-ending loop. No matter how successful you are, there will always be someone who is more successful than you, and the more successful you get, the more others will compare themselves to you. Since everyone is on their own road and success is relative, what may be a success for one person may not be a success for another. Sigma understands that comparing himself to others is pointless and that he is happy with who he is. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you are merely putting yourself in a position to be disappointed when you do so. Concentrate on being the finest version of yourself. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Instead, concentrate on your own path. The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. As long as you are moving forward, you are headed in the right direction. Additionally, they avoid talking down to others because doing so not only makes you feel bad but also makes you appear conceited. There is a significant difference between being confident and being arrogant. The former is founded on real accomplishment, whilst the latter is founded on the delusion that you are superior to others. Arrogance is a kind of insecurity that is a means of hiding your own fears by demeaning others. Despite his confidence, the Sigma male never belittles other people. When speaking to someone, Sigma is constantly conscious of their body language and tone of voice because he knows that how you say something is just as important as what you say. He never raises his voice or talks over other people, which would only make him appear like a bully. He treats everyone with respect and believes that everyone is equal, regardless of their social status or accomplishments. The Sigma male's confidence is often misinterpreted as arrogance, but that couldn't be farther from the reality. The Sigma is self-assured because he recognizes his own value and doesn't need to denigrate others in order to feel good about himself. 9. They refrain from disturbing others. Disrespecting people by interrupting them demonstrates that you don't appreciate what they have to say. The Sigma man never interrupts people while they are speaking. He wants to hear what everyone has to say since it is worthwhile. Alpha males frequently interrupt others to demonstrate their dominance, but Sigmas believe that this kind of thinking is harmful to both themselves and others. By interrupting others, we not only show disrespect but also miss out on hearing something valuable. You never know what you might learn from someone if you just take the time to listen. The last thing a Sigma man wants is to appear rude and immature. We are so focused on ourselves that we don't take the time to listen to what others have to say. We start acting like we are the only ones in the room. The Sigma man understands that dominance is unnecessary and that he does not have to say what he wants to say immediately. Instead, he makes mental notes on what he wants to say and waits for the ideal moment. Women like this because it demonstrates that they feel valued and really interested in what they have to say. 10. They never get recognition for doing morally. After all, life is not a popularity contest. Sigma guys act morally without being questioned or held to any standards. They act morally rather than seeking admiration or acclaim. While alpha males frequently require praise and recognition to feel good about themselves, the Sigma is content to do good simply because it is the right thing to do. He understands that his actions speak louder than words and that the only approval he needs is from himself. The Sigma man is an excellent role model for others because he never asks for approval or validation from anyone. He leads by example and never asks for anything in return. When alpha men begin to do something creative, especially if it seems a little out of the ordinary, they seek approval from those least likely to give it. However, a creative life cannot be sustained by approval any more than it can be destroyed by criticism. 11. Sigmas never complain or make excuses. When you complain, you make yourself a victim. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept it. Anything else is madness. The Sigma guy is a doer, not a complainer. He never justifies his behavior or places the blame for his issues on others because he understands that he must do things himself if he wants them done. A Sigma guy constantly makes sure he never finds himself in a situation where he has to make excuses because it is a sign of weakness and a lack of accountability. It indicates that you are not in charge of your life and that you are unable to accept responsibility for your actions. A person who constantly complains or makes excuses is one of the most unappealing aspects about them. It's incredibly off-putting and makes the other person feel uncomfortable. Women are never interested in dating a guy who is always whining. Everyone, not just women, dislikes being around people who are always depressing and negative.